Hi, so we're talking with Neha. She's a psychiatrist. And Neha, let's talk about body dysmorphia today. How's that?
Sounds good.
Let's go.
Okay, what questions do you have in mind?
So, what is body dysmorphia and where is it commonly identified?
Okay, a heavy question. So basically,
Yeah.
it's body dysmorphia, body dysmorphic disorder, how we like to call it, is a perceived flaw in one's physical appearance,
Okay.
which might or might not be visible to others,
Okay.
but that perception is so much bigger than what the actual problem might or even not might be.
Got
Okay.
it.
Then, after that perception, there are repetitive behaviors around it.
Okay.
It could be like constantly checking the weight, constantly checking yourself in the mirror, constantly grooming yourself, trying to fix whatever you perceive as the flaw. Okay? And this can go to various degrees. It could be subclinical, like the milder form, then it goes on to become a chronic disorder. It's usually when a person approaches us because it has
Reached
been
a certain threshold. Okay.
it's been a chronic disorder for some time.
How long do people face this issue and at what age is it commonly seen?
So it's usually the onset is in the teens. I would say the average age would be around 15-17 years,
Okay.
but could start as early as 12 to 13 years, because
Wow.
that's when the body is going through so many changes. The secondary sexual characters are appearing, emerging, yes. Hormonally, the body is going through so many changes. Then that is when you start getting influenced by your environmental factors, your peers. Everybody's body is changing at a different pace for some. For so many people, I'm sorry. And then there's the media influence, the social media, the mainstream media, what your parents about, like how your parents perceive their own bodies. There's so many things happening.
Right. So, how would you recommend people, especially the younger generation who are young, to shield themselves from certain things like this before it comes to a point where they have to go to a? Of course, usually they'll come to you after it's a situation, right?
It's
but is there a way they can start practicing certain positive habits to shield themselves from certain issues like this?
Of course, like just accepting the fact that everybody's body is different and there's no perfect body.
Right.
Like the social media, like so many people on Instagram, the influencers, they try to tell us everybody looks a certain way,
Right.
and if you don't look like that, you start feeling bad about yourself, right? So of course, now
So maybe
a teenager might not have it.
Would you be saying that means not to compare?
Yeah.
Basically what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Acceptance is the key. Okay. Now, obviously, a teenager, a 12, 13-year-old wouldn't really know how to accept by themselves.
Right.
They need to be taught those healthy habits, mostly by the parents, right?
Right.
And then it comes into play how the parents perceive their own bodies. Yeah.
It's a loop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, when a parent is taking care of themselves and how they're treating their child.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And what do you think the role of healthy eating or a healthy diet and an exercise pattern has on this? Or could it even have a negative pattern on it? Or should it have a negative pattern on it?
I think it's a whole different conversation.
Is it?
Sorry. But it's
Okay, it's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Are you saying something?
Yeah, like you wouldn't get an end to it. Like,
Yeah, what's the end?
So, of course, the multifactorial reasons I mentioned.
Oh no, wait. Can you mention, do you think it should be clarified that this doesn't mean you should be like okay being unhealthy? Would that be a valid point? Like not to practice an unhealthy, don't use this message as a justification to be unhealthy.
Of course, like when I talk about the acceptance part, I could talk about.
You get what I'm saying, right?
I get what you're saying, but it's very different. Like, it's the body dysmorphia. It's a clinical condition about something. And
So since they're two different things, they shouldn't be mixed together, right?
yeah.
So then does that mean that body dysmorphia should not be considered the same thing as...
जो लोग जो overweight होते हैं और वो body positivity वो नहीं बात करते.
Then say this. That is what I'm saying. Say, please don't misunderstand this as body positivity. This is not the same thing as body positivity. You have to create a line, right? You can be saying कि ऐसा हो जाओ, but it's okay for you to not take care of your health. Please take care of your health. Practice healthier habits. That's common sense. Don't ignore common sense.
Okay.
Right? So it would be things like while I am okay with the acceptance aspect of it, I would obviously I request people to apply common sense in terms of practicing healthy habits in their eating and exercise patterns.
I'll do that.
Whatever way you want to do it, right? But obviously, what I'm saying is not false, it's just common sense.
Yeah,
3, 2, 1, go.
Question.
Right, so is this the same thing as body positivity?
No, not that question. Your original question was what can somebody do before they... No. Where did I answer the acceptance part?
So what should be the solution that people make, or what are the solutions people can apply before they reach you, if in case it goes to that threshold?
नहीं, वो threshold पे मेरे पास ही आना है जो
before the threshold.
हाँ, like let's talk about the early, like what can parents do or what can a teenager do at
right,
12, 13
so,
years.
Got it. So what do you think this demographic can do to try and address this before it goes to a point of extremity?
Of course, that's a very good question. I think acceptance is a major part. Like everybody looks different, and a teenager needs to be taught to accept their body.
Okay. Would this be the same thing as body positivity?
In certain ways,
okay.
But I don't want you to be morbidly obese and yourself.
Common sense.
Yeah. So that's a different thing, to be morbidly obese and
right.
Be okay with it and call it body positivity.
Yeah.
We don't support that because that causes a lot of health issues. But
makes sense.
Acceptance, accepting your body the way it is the key. And just a healthy environment for a teenager to grow in.
Makes sense.
That works.
So this is Neha. She's a clinical psychiatrist. This is Neha. She's a psychiatrist. So I hope this helped.
Ta-da.
I'll just fucking edit this.